How effective is the combination of your main product and auxiliary tasks? Well, I'd say that we did follow the typical conventions for the magazine, the poster and the trailer. And the poster is very mysterious. It causes the audience to think about what the narrative could be, which will lead them to go and see it. And we use a rhetorical question as a tagline, which is always good to kind of entice the audience. By saying, like, how far would you go to seek redemption? It causes the audience to think about the question. It makes them realise that they have been included. So we have thought about the audience when we was producing the poster and the movie. It's personally asking them a question, and that's likely to make them want to go and see the movie, to know whether or not their answer matches up to kind of what the film kind of says as well. The main narrative image on the poster and magazine is of the characters. This innocently causes the audience to make a judgment on them. They kind of have that kind of first-hand opinion on whether they're the antagonist or the protagonist just by looking at them. So it's all things like that they'd want answers to, so you'd go and see the film to see whether that was correct or not. In the poster, Jamie's kind of in like a low-key lighting, and he's got his fist clenched, and this kind of represents his character. It starts to build a narrative, and it starts to put ideas into the audience's head of what the storyline could be. We also use typical conventions such as the star's name right at the top, and if that was like a big star's name, that would be very appealing. So like when we looked at the Taken 2 and the Grey film poster, they had Liam Neeson written in really big writing, and because he's such a well-known star, that is such an appealing factor. We also had the tagline, the title of the film, all quite big and readable, which is always a good thing. Highlighting, oh yeah, there's all using typical conventions also highlights a professional side, which is more appealing as well to the audience. As for the magazine, there's lots of bonuses and unseen pictures, images, interviews. We've tried to make it as if the world exclusive. So that's a really appealing factor, because if that's the only place the audience can read about it, they're going to want that magazine, they're going to buy that magazine. So by offering them free posters as well, that's always a bonus. It's giving them something extra, and it makes them feel kind of special and makes them want to go and see the film. The things I'd change, I think as for the poster and the magazine, I'd try and include a bit more iconography, just so that the audience could make a clearer kind of judgment on the genre and the narrative. So obviously, if as a thriller you'd expect to see kind of more guns or things like that, but obviously we weren't using a gun, which made it difficult to kind of put iconography of a thriller in there. And also I think it'd be better if we followed one genre instead of three. It did kind of get confusing, especially towards the end when we realised we'd kind of followed social realist. It wasn't that we hadn't planned it very well, it was just such quite a broad theme of the drugs and the suicide. It kind of fitted under more than one, and then it happened to fit under social realism really well. I do think the storyline is really good. I like how we've kind of made a journey, and it's something that the audience are going to want to kind of follow. It's something that keeps them involved. It's not a predictable ending, because there could be different endings to it. Jake could die himself, he could kill himself, or one of his friends could come back and get him, or he could be sent down, or we could get redemption. There's lots of different possibilities. It's not one of those films where you kind of know what's going to happen in the first 5 minutes, which I think is a really appealing factor.